The Nin games just keep on coming. All right, this time I am up against Mr. Upstart Giant, who's running an odd commander, Kozilek, the Great Distortion. 10 mana commander. Played against this guy just a handful of times. Obviously, it's a 10 mana commander and they're monocolor, well, mono brown, really. So those constraints really put a big hurdle to overcome on their deck. And if you're playing a containment-based strategy, it's often more than enough to just keep them off of the big mana sources, the things that make 2 or more mana. And it buys you so much time that it's just really, really hard for them to deploy anything threatening. But that said, this guy has a cast on trigger effect. And if he is able to get up to 10 mana relatively quickly via artifact ramp, it can actually be quite a battle. I have had a couple of tough games against this commander in the past, and also against its other buddy, Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. But usually not too afraid of this commander. And I thought, well, looking at my opening hand, I thought that obviously I'd like to have more interaction, but I do have plenty of mana, and this is kind of an interesting game. It's not, just like small disclaimer, it isn't the closest, most contested battle as some of my other videos are, but I wanted to just produce a video for it because it's such a nice showcase of what makes Nin such a unique and special deck, in the sense that there are other commanders that kind of are really designed to flourish in a heavy mana draw. Commanders like Damia, for example, where you kind of want to just play a bunch of ramp cards. I guess Maelstrom Wanderer is kind of like that too. You just want to play a bunch of ramp cards and mana, and eventually you slam your commander, and then you draw a bunch of cards and you kind of win the game. But in the case of Nin, of course, by nature of the fact that she costs only 2 mana, you've got all that early interaction as well. And so the deck can sort of flourish in a feast or famine situation, which is one of my criteria for the real top-tier commanders in the format. And this game is a really good demonstration of that. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. I believe I'm going first. I have, of course, as I said, a ton of mana in my hand and at least one counterspell for interaction. So alongside the strip mine, I think that I should be able to keep him off Kozilek for a good while and at least get one inactivation off before things potentially get ugly. And that hopefully will be enough to carry the game. So let's see what he's got. He did mulligan once, and he just passes with a single land. So no mana vault, no mana crypt, no soul ring. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good for the home team. Cryptic command. All right, more interaction drawn. Of course, there's no reason. I'm not really afraid of anything he's going to do on 2 mana. So, I mean, worst case scenario, it could be something like Ancient Tomb and Coalition Relic, but I've got counterplay for the stuff that would come after that. So I'm just going to play Nin here. No real reason not to play it. I don't think I need to hang on to counterspell for the time being. He's got Phyrexia's Core, followed up by Guardian Idol. Okay, a little bit of ramp there, but not terrifying. And I'm playing Command Tower here over Ancient Tomb, mainly because I want to be able to potentially counterspell something bigger here. If he did, in fact, have Wasteland followed up by a 3 mana thing that could be troublesome, maybe something that permanently shoots down and in the Pain Artist or something, I could get myself in trouble. So I'm playing a 3rd mana source here over the Ancient Tomb because I want to ensure that at least I have access to counterspell mana on the following turn if he does something really nasty. I find actually some of these decks play with lots of artifact or creature-based lands and artifact creatures alongside some swords and things like that just to have some early gameplay. And so I don't want something like a strip mine into Sword of Fire and Ice to happen or something like that. That would be extremely bad for me. And he does, in fact, have Palladium Mirror, which I could shoot down for 2, but this is one of those dangerous Soul Ring effects, and that seems like a good target for counterspell. And then he's got Guildless Commons. Look, it's a colorless Karoo. It's kind of awesome. I don't know when this card was printed, but it is getting insta-strip mined to set him back basically 2 turns. And I got a nice little Thought Vessel to go with it. So he's got a bit of an opening for a 3 mana thing, but it's a risk I have to take. And we know he has another land in his hand due to the fact that he just bounced one back. Sure enough, there's a sword. Sword of Sinew and Steel, black and red, so I can't block with Nin, can't shoot the creature, destroy up to 1 target Planeswalker and our 1 target artifact. Kind of nightmarish, honestly. And he does have a Guardian Idol in play, so he's got a target for it, although it's going to take a little while. And I just keep drawing land. It's like I've drawn 1 spell this game so far, really, that doesn't produce mana. So not feeling nervous yet. We haven't gotten to that stage. He doesn't have a ton of mana, and of course I'm sure his deck is designed to really only function with probably 5, 6, 7 mana in play anyway. That's where kind of all the powerful artifact things tend to happen. Let's take a look at Spawning Bed. 6 mana, you get 3 artifacts out of this that are 1/1 Eldrazi's, actually. So they're actually creatures that can wield a sword. He's 1 mana off being able to throw the Sword of Sinew and Steel onto the Guardian Idol. So feeling okay. He's got Chalice for 2. That is absolutely worth a Cryptic Command because I need to draw something, and I get Tezzeret. All right, that's pretty nice. Alrighty. So I've got 3 blue mana sources in play, which means that this Polluted Delta can use the Mystic Sanctuary to go get Cryptic Command or Counterspell back, which is a nice position to be in. I could play Tezzeret the Seeker here, and it may have been a mistake not to do it, because if I tap these 5 mana, I can play Tezzeret and immediately use Tezzeret to go get Soul Ring, and then I've got enough mana available to gun down the Guardian Idol if he tries to activate it and attack me with it. So I think in retrospect this may have been a mistake to not just play Tezzeret the Seeker here. I still don't think that there's that much scary that he can do even at 5. And as long as I leave 3 counters on Tezzeret, I should be able to, at a minimum, I should be able to get a Vedalken Shackles and handle anything that he intends to sword for a while. So I think this is a bit of an oversight. Probably should have played Tezzeret. I probably would have actually just gotten Mana Crypt to keep 4 counters on him. But I was chicken. And I also, of course, saw the opportunity to draw 5 cards. I think I was a little bit triggered by the fact that I wasn't drawing any spells. I just kept drawing lands. But sometimes you just got to do the right thing. So as expected, he's got nothing better to do. He's going to actually activate the Guardian Idol. And this is, in my opinion, this is a bit of a risky play, just given the fact that it is going to cost him one of his precious mana sources if, in fact, I have an answer for it. But, of course, if it does connect with an attack and it kills off a Thought Vessel, it's pretty good for him. But I have a good answer to this. In the form of my Commander's activation, Nin does this too, even without Hullbreacher in play. God, imagine if I had Hullbreacher out. Flash out Hullbreacher and shoot this thing. It would be game over on the spot. He taps it on the way out and draws 2, which is a cool play, given the fact that he's drawing 2 cards. But, of course, he doesn't get anything further, and I get to fully untap again. Ooh, Factor Fiction is kind of delicious. So, yeah, I really, really wish I had played Tezzeret the Seeker here. Could have done awesome shenanigans, just thrown another artifact into play and been able to really, really wail on this Nin. But as it is, I'm going to only draw 6. Life is hard. Inventor's Fair. And he's going to cast Kuldotha, Forge Master. 4 cards left in hand. It can sacrifice itself. Pretty powerful effect in his deck. I imagine he has all sorts of gnarly high-end artifacts to get with that, but we're never going to get to that stage. I'm going to sack this. And, of course, as I mentioned before, I'm going to get the Mystic Sanctuary. Oops. Oh, stop. Stop. Okay. Well, we can obviously see that I got the Cryptic Command and put it on top. But at the end of his turn, Nin commits suicide for 6 cards, and I untap into Shackles, Abrade, Remand, Mox Opal, Cryptic Command, also known as GG. It's just going to take a little bit of time to do this. So now I feel like I can safely play the Tezzeret the Seeker. Since I've got stuff to fetch, I'm just going to go grab Soul Ring since I already have Shackles. And Shackles allows me to play Vedalken Shackles. Or, I'm sorry, yeah. Since I already have Shackles in my hand, I play Vedalken Shackles. Plenty of islands in play. And I'm just going to scoop up this Forge Master. I could be cute and try to wait for him to either equip it or play another artifact. But there are actually instant speed artifacts in the game. And imagine if he plays another artifact and I go to grab the Forge Master in response. And then he flashes out Shimmer Mirror or something cool. And then he's got 3 artifacts in play before the Shackles resolves. And he uses Forge Master and he gets something super gnarly. Because there are definitely some deadly artifacts out there. And I don't even want to know what they are. So I'm not going to screw around. I'm just going to take the Forge Master. And thanks to Thought Vessel, I guess I have 7 cards in hand. Anyway, but looking increasingly fortified, he's still 5 mana away from being able to play his commander. And I've got 2 counters in hand already and Dak Faden waiting in the wings. So he's going to play a Prismatic Lens and then cast whatever this thing is. Azor's Gateway. Draw a card, then exile a card from your hand. If cards with 5 or more different mana values are exiled, you gain life. 5 life, untap it, and transform it. Man, this card is insane if you're able to flip it. Tap, add X mana of any one color where X is your life total. Clearly the most powerful land in all of Magic. That is so nuts in Commander. It must be so fun to flip it over, but we're never going to get to that stage. It is so hard to activate that. So he puts a 2 underneath it. What is this thing? Elaborate Fire Cannon. It's kind of cool. Interesting card. Never seen it before. Probably won't see it again for a while. I'm just going to fetch up a Volcanic. And I'm just going to braid away more mana sources. I could play the Dak Faden and steal the Prismatic Lens, but I think I'd probably rather just take other stuff, like the card that potentially wins him the game. God, could Do you imagine? I wonder how many times he's actually been able to flip this thing over into Sanctum of the Sun and actually get a use out of it. It's so hilarious. Okay, I'm just going to play Dak here. And yeah, I steal his nice little sword. And of course, this solves two problems in one. I steal the sword and equip the sword. Now I can get rid of the gateway as well. I'm just all sorts of no fun for the opponent. Apologies, my opponent. He's Upstart Giant's had enough, which I do not blame him for. I mean, obviously, this was just abuse from pretty much from turn 2 or turn 3 onward. And of course, one of the main reasons why I love Nin the Pain Artist over other conventional mono blue decks is just this fantastic interactivity with artifacts exists in this deck that doesn't exist in mono blue. Mono blue has a couple of things that can steal artifacts. They've definitely made more lately. The Sky Fisher, for example, is one. And of course, there's lots of ways to clone artifacts, but red has real interaction with artifacts. Abrade, Dak Faden, for example, Vandal Blast. Just having those ways to really, truly handle artifacts just elevates this deck so much, in my opinion, over mono blue strategies. And that's one of the many reasons why I love it. But I really like this game. It's just a demonstration of how powerful Nin the Pain Artist can be when you are mana flooded. It's just almost unique in that regard because you can get the commander online early. And as you saw, I had interaction early using the commander to kill off that Guardian Idol, which might have actually caused problems to other decks with slower commanders if they were mana flooded. And at that point, winning the game was relatively trivial. So more games to come. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Nin doing Nin things, and I will see you soon.